Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today, I'm not going to be casting for you some of the IEM games. Lately, that's all I've been casting, so today I decided to do something a little bit different, and what do you know? I went on sc2rep.com, and the first replay at the top of the page was a Grubby replay, and everybody knows I absolutely love Grubby. I cast Grubby games anytime I can just because he's ridiculously good. He's super good, always love his play. Super smart, logically thought out player from Warcraft 3. And speaking of Grubby, he is going to be spawning here as the green Protoss on the left side of MLG Dual Site. Spawning as his opponent, as the blue Terran, playing, well actually no, he's not playing for Team Virus. We just have Naama. He's actually no longer part of Virus. Despite what this name tag up here says, he is actually not a part of Virus anymore. He recently left Virus, just like a month or two ago, I believe. He left Virus to join, I think it was a newer team called Fightline. I think that's the name of the team. But anyway, Naama is a ridiculously good player that very few people know about. He is a Finnish player that was, I think he was a Warcraft 3 player. I'm not even sure about that. All I know is that he's really good. He's been featured on a bunch of Day 9 dailies. He's very good Terran player. So I definitely expect high-level play out of him today. Did I talk about where this game came from yet? No, I did not. This game is actually going to be from the Gigabyte Cup. The Gigabyte Cup I have casted games from before. The Gigabyte Cup, of course, being a weekly tournament that goes on the EU servers, and a lot of the top European players like to play in it every week because it's a good way to win 100 euros. I think it's 100 euros. I think that's the prize for winning the Gigabyte Cup. There's also the GO4 SC2 Cup, which happens every single week as well, and I don't know, one of them you win 100 euros. I don't remember which. But definitely going to be excited to see this best of 3. This is going to be game 1 of a best of 3. Definitely going to see who can take it. This is going to be a semifinals match, so at this point in the tournament, there were 4 players still left in the tournament, so this is not quite the finals match, and I will not spoil who was into the finals, because one of these 2 players definitely proceeded on to the finals. Not going to spoil it for you yet, and I've got to tell you, game 3 is going to be epic. I'm just gonna give that little hint of a spoiler right now. So, let's start jumping into this game right now. As we can see so far, Grubby's gone for that standard Protoss opener that we know and love so much. Looks like he managed to get that Cybernetics core down, now managed to throw down his second Gas Geyser, and Naama's been scouting all of this. This is, of course, a 2-player map, so the players know exactly where their opponents spawn, and there is pretty much at the moment they want to know what their opponent's doing, they can just walk right over there and find out early in the game as they can. Now, Grubby tried to poke up in here. Did he actually get in there earlier? Looks like he did actually get in there earlier, saw 1 Gas Geyser down. Actually, right now there is still only 1 Gas Geyser down, and we do have a reactor now coming down on the barracks, interestingly enough. Another command center going down as well. Looks like he's going to be trying to go for some kind of maybe factory tech, but he's going to definitely be getting some early Marines. Robotics first, says Naama. New trend for sure, says Grubby. And yep, there it is. There's that 1 gate into robotics facility. Yeah, I actually have not seen this too much, but as Grubby says, apparently this is a new trend. Maybe it's a new trend on the EU ladder. I'm not sure about that, but we're definitely going to see how Grubby is going to be doing with it. Looks like out of that robotics facility, yeah, he's going to be producing an Immortal, so it looks like it's going to be an early Immortal push here out of Grubby. This is actually a really early Immortal. I mean, I think the only reason I can think of that he'd be getting up an Immortal this early is really if he wants to try to push and deal some damage, because this early of an Immortal is just it's just super early. No gateway units up yet. He's got 1 sentry up, I think, at this point in time. Yeah, 1 sentry, 1 stalker, and now he's getting up that Immortal. So now, and we actually have an observer coming out on the way. He will be able to use that to push against his opponent if he needs. An observer definitely critical for applying any kind of early pressure to Terrans, as they do tend to wall off their front, and you will need an observer to be able to see up onto the high ground. And Naama predicting a Warp Prism. I would say that's a pretty good prediction, considering the Warp Prism buff. The Warp Prisms are very good now. I almost never ever see Warp Prisms die anymore. It used to be that Warp Prisms would just die like that. They would just die instantly. But nowadays, those Warp Prisms, like, they never ever die, like, ever. They just... You can have a bunch of Marines shooting them down, and they just sit there and take it, and then they're just like, alright, I guess I'll leave now. And then they kind of leave at their slow, leisurely pace, and then they never take any hull damage. Just shields. Now, in the base of Naama, looks like we're going to have some Marine siege tanks coming out of here. We do currently have a siege tank on the way, siege mode currently being researched, and Marines being double produced out of this barracks. I love this minimalist style here out of Naama, but here comes Grubby. Holy cow, with that one Immortal, one Stalker, one Sentry push. He does have vision up onto the high ground, of course, with this Observer, and now he's playing a lot of pressure onto this supply depot, forcing Naama to pull a lot of SCVs off the line to come try to keep this supply depot repaired, and Naama has got to be thoroughly confused right now. He has got to have no idea what the heck is going on. This is the strangest push he has ever seen, and it's definitely the strangest push I have ever seen. Grubby is going to be expanding behind this, and yeah, Naama's actually checking to see what the heck is going on. Is he really trying to attack me on one base here, or is he expanding behind this? And now Naama knows. That's actually a very, very smart scan there by Naama, because now he knows that this attack isn't completely all in. He's not just going to be rallying units here nonstop, but a second Immortal has just arrived on the scene here, and wow, the supply depot goes down here. If Grubby actually manages to deal a lot of damage with this push, I'm going to be really, really surprised. This is such an interesting build here from Grubby. In the base of Grubby, we now have more warp gates now being thrown down. Currently 3 are up, but it looks like he's throwing down another 2, so he's going to have a total of 5 warp gates. No forward pylon up here, though, so he cannot be warping in any more units. This push is all he's really trying to do some damage with. He's just going to be poking up here at the front, trying to deal some damage to the supply depot, trying to get a few worker kills, maybe try to get a few Marine kills if he can. But now the siege tanks are up, and they do have that siege mode. And oh, here we go. He does now actually spot that command center that is now down. And ooh, looks like he tries to cut off the Marines from coming down that ramp. Not able to catch too many of them, though, and it looks like these siege tanks are going to completely control this lower ground now. And Grubby's now going to be forced to pull back. So he's now pulling back to his base. Let's check out the harvester count right now, because I'm actually really curious to know who is up. Grubby is up slightly, 34 harvesters to 32. He's been mining on this natural base just slightly longer than his opponent, so he's going to have a very, very slight economic advantage for having been mining on that second expansion for just a smidgen longer, but it won't be a huge advantage. Definitely something Naama can come back from. And now we do have the robotics bay coming down here for Grubby, so it looks like we're going to be seeing some gateway and gateway unit and Colossus mixes coming out of Grubby. Definitely a good thing to do against Terran players, especially one that's going for this Marine siege tank mix. Gateway units, a mix of gateway units and Colossi can do very, very well, especially when your opponent is going very, very heavy Marine with that Observer. Of course, Grubby did manage to see the barracks that is down now with the reactor, saw another barracks going down, and he saw the siege tanks, of course, so he knows that his opponent is going for a pretty bio-heavy plus siege tank force, and so he's getting up those Immortals, getting up a lot of those gateway units, getting up a lot of sentries to be able to force field off some of those Marines so that he can try to control some of the Marines and kill them in very small groups. We have the Forge coming up here for Grubby as well. Extended Thermal Lance now being chrono boosted out here. And Naama just getting on his natural expansion. Looks like he hasn't managed to take his other gas geysers yet. Continuing to pump out more units. He does currently have 4 barracks up. Looks like 3 with Tech Lab, 1 with Reactor, and 1 that is completely naked at this point in time. Combat Shield is currently being researched. Stim is being researched as well. Both will be completing around the same time. So it looks like, yeah, Naama's going to be going very heavily bio-focused at this point in time, and he's trying to take some map control here with these Marines out here, controlling these Xel'Naga watchtowers that are in the middle of the map. Grubby does have 1, and Naama has the other, but now it looks like Grubby's deciding to get a little bit aggressive here as he's moving out. He might just be moving up here to try to take this Xel'Naga watchtower, or he might actually be going for another push here. This is not really the kind of push he needs to go up against, though. All these siege tanks and bunkers, and whoa, what do we have here from Naama? But a lot of SCVs being pulled off the line right now. Scans going down to make sure no observers can see. We have a lot of SCVs, Marines, and siege tanks being pushed here for one big push. It looks like this is going to be a little bit all in here by Naama. He doesn't have as many workers back up in his main anymore, continuing to mine on his natural, but he doesn't have those other 2 gas geysers taken, and he's continuing to rally more forces in. He's really going to look to do a lot of damage here, and here comes the force fields down by Grubby. Looks like he's been able to cut off a lot of the Marines, but didn't get a complete wall off there, so he's now moving in, trying to deal as much damage as he can. Siege tanks dealing a lot of damage, taking out that Colossus, and now the forces of Grubby are actually falling quite quickly, and now the forces of Naama are moving forward, throwing down those bunkers. 1 more Colossus is now out on the field here for Grubby, trying to deal some damage. Probes being pulled off the line now here for Grubby. Looks like there's only 1 Immortal. It no longer has shields. That means it will no longer be benefiting from that hardened shield upgrade. It needs to get those shields back up and running. and let that Immortal recharge on his shields, and he's going to be poking in with his Colossus, trying to take out some of these bunkers. Smart play here by Grubby, as that extended Thermal Lance is really going to help him to try to take down these bunkers from a distance where that Colossus cannot get hit. Now, more SCVs are moving in here for Naama, and he's actually kind of losing some SCVs there to his own Siege Tank friendly fire. And the Colossus just trying to get a good angle on this right now. Grubby trying to do what he can to break this contain, but this contain is starting to look very, very scary here from Naama. These 3 bunkers are about to be up. More forces are continuing to be rallied across the map. Naama still not really doing much in terms of worker production. Looks like he is pretty much all in at this point in time. I mean, not completely all in, as he does still have some workers mining, but if this push doesn't work, he's not going to be in the best of positions at all to be able to deal with Grubby here. And now, looks like Grubby might be able to finally break this contain. No, looks like Naama's going to be breaking through here. Will he be able to snipe that Colossus, trying to focus down that Colossus? One Colossus does go down there very quick. Probes again being pulled off the line here by Grubby, and Grubby's actually, surprisingly, staying caught up in food count at this point in time, getting Chrono Boosts on his Warp Gates, Chrono Boosting out more Colossi. Colossi are definitely his power unit that he needs to be able to break this contain, because at this point in time, these bunkers are going to be very, very hard to break for gateway units. He needs to be able to sit back at a range with these Colossi and be able to deal damage from afar. But amazingly, Naama's actually holding quite well, throwing up more bunkers. More SCVs are even coming down as well. So it looks like, oh, here we go. Grubby looks like he might be moving in with this Immortal. I don't know if that's a bit of miscontrol there, but that Immortal was able to take a lot of the fire from those Siege Tanks as gateway units and Colossi move in. But all the gateway units are being cleaned up here for Grubby. Grubby not looking like he's in the best of positions right now. This gas guys are being picked off here slowly by these Marauders. These bunkers looks like they might go down here to these 2 Colossi, and Grubby struggling to keep up production here to try to keep going. And what is this going down here? But we do have a Nexus going down at the gold expansion up at the top. Now the command center, or the Nexus rather, is now being focused down by these Siege Tanks as well as all these Marine Marauders, and I think Grubby is actually going to lose this command, or this Nexus, and yes, his natural expansion goes down. He's now going to be pulling back his SCVs to that gold expansion, it looks like. And, man, if Naama doesn't scout that right away, he's actually going to be in quite a bit of trouble here. Naama's got to be feeling like he's in a fantastic position right now, and he absolutely is. He's sitting on 2 base. He's managed to deal a lot of damage. If we check out the units lost tab, we can see that Grubby has lost way more resources worth of units, and it looks like Naama actually manages to scout out this Marine. He actually sent a Marine to go scout that gold expansion to make sure that Grubby wasn't expanding, and amazing. That's amazing thinking there by Naama. Wants to be checking all his bases, but those probes are going to be pulled off the line, finish off that Marine, but man, now Naama knows that expansion is there. Grubby continuing to warp in a lot of gateway units here. Looks like he's going to want to try to start to get maybe a little bit aggressive to force his opponent to pull back. At this point, he cannot retake his natural expansion, and yes, he is now just bypassing all of his opponent's units, and now he's moving across the field, going to try to do some counter damage here. But Naama taking the opportunity while he knows Grubby's army is out of position, stimming up into the main base right now. Looks like he's now moving in, manages to pick off 1 Stalker, or 1 Sentry rather, now focusing down on Colossus, but the forces of Grubby are now coming back here, and it looks like they are going to be able to defend this attack, and now all these units are looking really, really low from being so heavily overstimmed. More gateways going down now for Grubby, and in the base of Naama right now, Naama has got to be at a little bit of a loss right now in what exactly to do. He needs to take an expansion, maybe get up another army, maybe start to play a little bit more defensive, or reinforce this push and continue to apply pressure. He's trying to apply pressure with a small group of Marines here going up to the gold expansion. Looks like he's going to deny any kind of mining going on this, if this gold, on that gold. If that gold is left up for too long, that gold is going to start to do really, really well, start to really get Grubby up in food count. As we can see, he's already up in food count, actually. 120 food to 110 food of Naama right now, so Grubby's actually in a very, very good spot, and the fact that he's on this gold expansion is going to mean that he's going to be mining quite a bit. If we check out the harvester count right now, he's actually still ahead in harvesters, and because he's on this gold, he's actually going to be mining quite a bit more minerals here fairly soon. His main is starting to get mined out, and it looks like Naama's main is getting is starting to get mined out as well. And now Naama, kind of in a dangerous position here with these siege tanks. I think he's going to lose all these siege tanks and all these Marines and Marauders, and yeah, it looks like the Stalkers have managed to spot him. Now focusing down the siege tanks, that is going to be critical loss for Naama. The fact that he didn't get those siege tanks back to his base to be able to defend, he is now short a couple of siege tanks there, and the siege tanks do fall, putting Naama at 116 food to the 134 of Grubby. There is another group of stimmed Marines going into the gold expansion again, trying to defend this, but Grubby is now warped in. More Zealots here to be able to defend. Lots of workers been killed so far for both of these players. Naama been able to take out more. 28 workers killed for Naama, 19 killed right now for Grubby, but Grubby's just going to go for the attack here. Looks like he's moving in with all these Colossi. He's still got a fairly high Zealot count. fairly high stalker count. I think he's got a good handful of stalkers, and now he's moving in with his 4 Colossi, starting to focus down these barracks. These barracks are going to be absolutely critical, and Naama really doesn't have that much at this point in time to be able to defend against this. He has a few Vikings up, but I don't think he's got enough forces to be able to deal with this huge push here from Grubby, and Grubby now moving his Colossi up onto the high ground. Beautiful unit placement, needs to pull that one Colossus back, doesn't quite get it back in time. These Vikings are focusing down everything, but I think these Colossus are doing a fantastic job of cutting through all the Marines and Marauders of Naama, and as we can see, the forces of Naama are just dwindling so fast to the forces of Grubby. Grubby's currently sitting at 80 food to the 58 of Naama, and Naama was actually able to hold off that attack. That is unbelievable. I can't believe that Naama was actually able to do that. But now he is going to be pulling off his SCVs. He's going to try to take down this gold. He knows this gold has been up for way too long, and it needs to go down no matter what if he has any chance at winning this game. But Grubby now taking his natural expansion. That Nexus is almost complete. And here comes Naama. I think this is going to be his final push. I don't think he's going to be able to do much more if he doesn't take down this gold expansion. And here we go. Here's the engagement. Marines and Marauders stimming in now, trying to focus down as many units as they can. All the SCVs going in here, absorbing a lot of damage for these Marines and Marauders while they take out a lot of these gateway units, but now all the forces of Grubby are arriving here at the gold base, and it looks like he's going to be getting a ton of SCV kills. Holy cow, 64 worker kills so far for Grubby, and now he's in a absolutely commanding position. He has managed to keep this gold base, so he's in such a good position right now, continuing to pump out those Colossi. No more upgrades currently gone down. All his gateway units do currently have +1, and Grubby is now moving in. Nice force fields going down there, trapping some of Naama's units there, forcing him to have to go around as all the Zealots move in and get off a few hits there. And now, oh no, the medevacs caught a little bit out of position there as some damage went down on them, and now Naama actually pushing forward with a small force while he continues to rally units to his opponent's gold base and trying to force the bulk of Grubby's army back. But man, Naama is definitely running out of food supply right now, as he is currently only sitting at 48 to 79. Grubby is going to be pretty much getting ahead at this point in time. There isn't a whole lot Naama can do about it, but Naama is definitely putting up a good fight here, trapping some of those units in these force fields. All these units are so low in the because of the stim right now. All these units are basically just 1 or 2 stalker hits away from death, but man, Naama's actually doing a ridiculous amount of damage here to Grubby, but Grubby just continuing to warp in more and more units. 1 Colossus has arrived up here on the field, and it looks like Grubby is going to finally be able to clean this up, and Naama only sitting at 26 food at this point in time. There is not going to be a ton that he can do about it. Looks like he is going to be trying to lift off this orbital command and be moving to a new base, but look at this Zealot placement here by Grubby. Such brilliant play here by Grubby. It's very, very subtle of a thing there, but in the heat of battle, most players will forget to do things like scout opponents' expansions. Here, Grubby, as we can see, was decided to just, in the heat of battle, get 1 Zealot, send it to this potential 3rd base here for Naama. And Naama now, I think, is just in a ton of trouble. He's almost mined out here at his natural. Grubby definitely taking the food lead, 92 to 40 of Naama. Grubby's soon going to be tripling the food count here of Naama, and I think Naama's going to be coming here for his last and final push. I keep saying that, I think, every time that Naama's going for his last and final push, but Naama is definitely being the Terran that will not die. He's moving in now with all of his forces stimming in, trying to once again focus down this gold expansion, but all the forces are here for Grubby, and it looks like he's going to start to focus down as many of these units as he can. Oh, nice little bit of play there by Naama. Did you see what he did? Because he had the medevac, he was able to see over this grass here, but Grubby was not, so he got a lot of free hits off there. So Naama definitely making the best of the units that he has here, but Grubby definitely doing such a good job of macroing. 107 food to the 44 of Naama, and here comes Grubby with what I think is finally going to be the final push, because I don't think Naama's going to be able to hold this off. SCVs once again being pulled off the line. Nice force field going down there, forcing Naama to strain his units through these smaller positions, and now more Colossi are now on the field, and there's the GG from Naama. That means that Grubby's taking game 1, and we're going to be going into game 2 to see if Naama can come back from that big loss in game 1, so stick with me, guys. This is going to be an exciting series.